Good morning, happy Thursday. Hi, everybody. Sanbonani, welcome to my channel. Listen, I know you guys have been waiting for this review of this interview over here, okay? Our colleague Simz Right did an interview with Promise yesterday, or it was posted yesterday. We don't know when it was done, but we need to talk about what happened with this interview. And then we're going to talk about what happened with Zoe, because Zoe was also throwing bombs there by Showmax Unfollowed, okay? And then, yes, guys, and then there's one story that shocked me from Zimoja that I want to talk about. This woman is being given millions, okay, for free. And she's like, no, I don't want the millions. I just want my pension money, okay? I want the government pension money every month. I do not want this money over here, but we're going to talk about what's happening with that story. Let's do a countdown and then get on with Umkosi. Hello everybody, Sanbonani, welcome to my channel. And on this channel, sikhuluma reality TV shows, celebrities, kanye YouTubers. If it's your first time joining me today and you are on YouTube, do not forget to press the subscribe button to sort of become part of the family. Okay, it's an official way to become part of the family. And if you are on Facebook, you can also follow the page and also like the page. And if you are on Twitter, you can do the same. Just follow me over there so that you don't miss out on Umkosi, you guys. Please follow me on all the platforms so that you don't miss out, okay? But usually when I go live on all of the platforms, all three platforms. Okay, we're working on the other platforms. Okay, slowly but surely we will get there. Anyway, you guys, I couldn't do a live yesterday, the evening live, because of course it was raining, it was cloudy, and I thought the network is just not going to help us. Okay, we're not going to be able to enjoy our umkosi with the way that the network was up and down. So I canceled it. So this is what we're going to talk about now, what we were supposed to talk about last night. Noni M podcast. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Chanela Mabani, hello, Molo, Abigail Baloyi, hello, Abigail. Okay, I feel like I haven't seen your name here in a while. Hello, Abigail. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me. So, guys, the interview, guys, Simz Right, happened yesterday. Okay, it was a good interview, you guys. I think most of the interviews that I've watched, Ziga Promise, are good interviews. I think she is a good interviewer. Okay, so we're going to talk about what happened there, you guys. Of course, mainly she was interviewing her about her marriage, because that's what Promise's channel is about. Okay, my husband this, my husband that. Okay. If you're the type that has ever said my husband this, my husband that, okay, you might end up in Promise's channel. So she did the interview. It went well, you guys. I do have some questions here and there, but I kind of feel like, you know what, you guys, the things that are not adding up, the things that I still not make sure about the story, I'm just going to give Sims grace and be like, I'll just put this one as it's your business, girl, okay? But there are things for me that are still not adding up in the story. But it was great to hear Usims tell the story in a calm way. Of course, the storm is sort of like it has passed, so it's not like that time, so it's different. The emotions are settled a little bit, so it was great to hear what really happened at that night. Okay, I like how Upromise did the interview, but there are things that I wish that she got into that she didn't. Okay, I don't know if it's the edit, I don't know if it was the agreement prior to them sitting for an interview that they decided they were not going to talk about certain things, but it was a good interview nonetheless. Okay, and then Zoe Mthiyane is there by Showmax. You guys, is it Zoe Mthiyane? Am I getting the name right though? Why am I feeling like it's not Zoe? Is it Zoe Mthiyane? What's the? I need to check on that. Okay, for some reason I feel like I'm getting the surname wrong. So Zoe was over there on Showmax on the show called Unfollowed, where they interview people that have been sort of cancelled on social media. And some people, it's questionable why they are part of the show. Some, and when I saw her, I was like, "Uzo, we were canceled in. But then when they started interviewing her, I was like, oh, God, there were these stories that came out after when she was living in Generations, and there were things that were reported about her showing up to work drunk and all of that, and her not being a good mom and all of that. So that was on social media. So I guess they felt like it fitted. She fitted the show. That's why she got to be interviewed on the show, and she was dropping bombs. You guys, I actually didn't realize that she has actually dated quite a few celebrities. Okay, so she has a lot of stories to tell when it comes to umjolo wakhe. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. But before, let's get into this story, you guys, of this former domestic worker that is being offered millions. And she is saying, no, 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 no. I don't want the millions. I just want impesheni yami engiyisebenzelile. I just want my UIF. I do not want these millions that you are trying to give to me. I'm like, but Mother God, how many years have I been praying for millions, and you go and give it to someone that doesn't want them? I got the Baba God can be very unfair sometimes. I'm here praying for the millions still, and he takes my millions and he's supposed to give it to some woman that doesn't want the millions. Okay, this woman has never prayed for millions. Says, this is not my money. I do not want it. And I'm like, oh, give it to me. Okay. Give it to me, but we'll find out why she says that she does not want this man. Hi, Lindelwa, Toya. Hi, Isewa D. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here. So, you guys, this former domestic worker, it was time for her to pension now. She has worked, she has reached the pension age. Okay, she was looking forward to it, I am sure, but something happened that she did not expect, and she's like, no, 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 I don't want izinto engingazilindele mina. I just want this money over here that I have been waiting for life. Okay, so they're trying to give her the millions. She's like, they're like, no, it's yours. She's like, no, I don't know anything about this money, but let's find out what's happening, you guys, because maybe some of you will think this woman is right by refusing to take the millions. I don't know, you guys. I'm having the moral. What do they call it when you're having your morals are conflicted? How hard this decision would be for me right now. Okay, former domestic worker declines 2 million pension payout. This is a story by Upilani Mzila. Okay, this is the mama, guys. Mama Lona, you must know. Let me make the picture big, because this mama is teaching us a lesson or two in morality. Okay, because listen, when it has to do with money, especially when you are talking millions, I don't know if I will refuse this money like this lady is doing. Okay. So this is what they say. She dropped out of school in grade 8 and spent the rest of her adult life as a domestic worker and a cleaner at different homes and companies. But according to the Department of Labor, she is a qualified teacher who worked for the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Education for years. Because of course our government just has to make a mistake like that. Okay, so she's been working as a domestic worker for years now, but for some reason there are records in the Department of Education that she has been a teacher for years. This is the reason that she's ending up with this money that they're trying to pay to her, and she's like, no, 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 I've never been a teacher, this is not my money. To top it, she apparently has a 2 million pension payout. Tandisha Bangu, 61, from Bellevue in Gauteng, says she wants nothing to do with the million. She's like, no, no, no. I don't want the million. I want the 2,000 rand. Is it 2,100 or 2,200 now? She just says, no, I don't want the millions. I just want my 2,000 something from the government, okay, a month. Shabangu told Zimoja that she used to work at a media company as a cleaner in Glendon, Pietermaritzburg, in KZN. She's right here, I can go and be like, Mama, I just take the money and give it to me, Where she supposedly worked as a teacher according to the Department of Labor. She says she was told all this when she went to the Department of Labor to claim her unemployment insurance fund. Okay, this is a very content person, you guys. She's worked for years as a domestic worker. She has money to claim from UIF, and then she wants to go claim her pension. She does not want any money that does not belong to her. So she went there to register for SASSA pension grant. The officials at the department told me that I had an unclaimed 2 million rand from the Department of Education that I needed to claim. I told them I have never qualified as a teacher and that I don't know anything about the pension, but they tried to convince me to claim the money. I declined, she claimed. She adds, adding that even the senior official at the department tried to convince her to take the money. Mama, thatha imali eyakho ibhalwe ngegama lakho. The mama was like, no. She said that she dismissed the department staff who were helping her at the office in Pietermaritzburg, fearing that the government would arrest her for accepting the money. Okay, I can understand because it's like, but I can't just be getting millions, out of nowhere. Shabangu said that all she wants was to get her SASSA grant and she qualified. My former employer submitted all the necessary documents for me to get my UIF benefits, and I don't understand why they're not giving me my benefits and why they are trying to force me to take the money that do not belong to me. I have never committed a crime. I am not about to do so as a pensioner, she added. Shabangu said she wished to cooperate with the government department to find out who misused her personal information to defraud the department. I'm afraid that this money will prevent me and my children from receiving my government benefits. I'm sure the kids are like, Ma, Gogo, Santimali. Government can keep her money. All I want is my pension money and my UIF. I worked as a cleaner and as a domestic worker all my life. I've never been a teacher, she said. The spokesperson for the Department of Labor in KwaZulu-Natal, Khumalo, asked for Shabangu's details to be forwarded to him so that they can investigate the matter. They are probably going to take this money. Spokesperson for the Department of Education in KZN, Moses Mahlambi, said that they will start an internal investigation that will just end up nowhere in collaboration with the Department of Labor regarding Shabangu's claims. Okay, but they need to give her pension, they need to give her UIF while they're investigating. Guys, listen. Father God, guys, sometimes our prayers, he just sends them to other people. We're sitting here praying for millions. He gives the millions to a woman that clearly did not need the millions, does not want the millions, just wants her grant money every month and her UIF. And I am sitting here still praying for the millions. How many times have I played the Lord? Okay, and you take the 2 million and you give it to her. I don't know. GPS Father God sometimes. GPS Father God sometimes, send the answers to the wrong person because I've been waiting for the millions, guys. I've been waiting for the millions. They haven't come. But I'm hearing other people are getting the millions that they haven't prayed for. How fair is this? I want to life, guys. But listen. I guess it's easy, you guys, to think, you know what, I will just take the money, when the story is not about you. But when you're in the situation, I'm sure she's thinking, yo, bazonginika le mali, and then later on they will come and say it was a mistake. I wasn't supposed to get the money. I'm supposed to pay it back and all of that. When I rightfully have money over here, that is my UIF and has and my government grant that I can be paid from. Why do I need to take these millions that don't belong to me? But how tempting is that? Okay. Valentine Zulu. Good morning, Valentine. Sembile Damini. Good morning. I was gonna ask, where do I sign? No, mama, morals, guys. Morals. Cabanga, they even call the bosses. Everyone is like, yeah, it's your money here, it's your ID number, here is everything. Maybe she was scared also, guys, because these things, like when they do money laundering, sometimes they will deposit a lot of money in your account, and then you go to the bank and be like, I don't know where this money is coming from, and they'll be like, no, but it's yours, it's in your account. And then after a while, you are contacted by some Nigerians, like, ma'am, you have to deposit 50% of that money in my account. Maybe scared something like that will happen. Some people will contact and say, yeah, so it's only 2 million, 1 million of that money a year because for what. I understand the fear, but I'm like, but the temptation for me, the 2 million. I don't know if I would have been able to say no, but I was like, wow. She actually is like, no, I did not work this money for this money. I was like, I need to check my moral thingers because it was like the temptation was too much. Anyway, you guys, I just wanted to share that story because I thought it was an amazing story to read about. This woman actually did refuse to take the 2 million. Okay. Anyway, you guys, so Zoe did the interview. Anyway, it was posted yesterday on a show Max, and of course, is it Tembegile? His name does a very good job, you guys, with these interviews. Okay, but I'm gonna talk about a few things that were kind of for me like shockers when it came to her interviews. Okay, of course, she gets to talk about just her journey getting into acting, and they always talk about that casting couch. And I imagine you guys, her being a beautiful woman, that she's had experiences where, producers are like, listen, if you do this favor for me over here, you can get a role. Okay. She says that she's never done it. She's always had to say no to such. Okay. And then they talked a little bit about her relationship with what's the guy's name from what Super Sports? What's the guy? And why am I forgetting her ex, the first baby daddy? Okay, whom she really wanted to Robert Marawa. Okay, Robert Marawa. She really didn't want to say much about him. It sounds like they have a very respectful relationship. Okay, very respectful relationship and a very respectful co-parenting relationship. Okay, she sounded like she respects him very much, and I was like, okay, at least you have one ex that you feel like that about. Okay, but then they get to talk about Label M, you guys, because of course she did date Label M and that relationship. Okay, the shocker for me, you guys, I even posted about this on Twitter, was that she is saying that people think that Label M is the one that actually is the producer of The Lion King. I don't know how we get that idea, because I also thought, okay, initially, long time ago, when Lion King first came out, I thought that he was the writer of the music. Okay, the music, which is the African music in the play or the movie or whatever. Okay, the Lion King. But then over the years, it had always seemed like every time they mentioned Lion King, it was almost like his thing. So I ended up just thinking it was his production. I even thought that the plays that are going around the world where people are performing Lion King, that it is Label M's production. Okay, it turns out that it's not. Okay, that has nothing to do with him. It's like he wrote a few songs, on Lion King, and maybe help them with the music arrangements here and there with Lion King, but it's not really his production. Am I the only one that actually thought that it was? I thought that that's where he made most of his money from Lion King, because I thought that was his play. Okay, and it's not. She says, listen, the guy is not. The guy is not as important in the Lion King play as people think that he is. It's not his production. Okay. In fact, when she was doing the Lion King, he wasn't even part of the production. It's like they met. Them meeting had nothing to do with her having done the Lion King, because it seemed like some of us thought that she was doing the Lion King, and then while doing the Lion King, met the producer who is Label M, and through that they got into a relationship. Okay, but she's like, no, she's just met Level M, but it didn't really have anything to do with her being on the Lion King, and also he does not have very much to do with the production. Am I the only one that was shocked by that? Because for me, Level M is, Lion King, but they're saying no, it's not his production, and he just wants people to think that. Okay, also, you guys, you know that recently there is a story of him and his recent ex-wife, because we have to be very specific. He has many, many ex-wives. Okay, he's trying to divorce the recent wife. Okay, so in him trying to divorce the wife, there's back and forth. They've been in court, protection orders and whatnot, and the wife is saying that he has been very abusive to her and all of that. Okay, and she tries to explain, to say, one thing that she can say about him is that she feels like he is a narcissist in a relationship. And it did feel like she is having a hard time even talking about her experiences in the relationship, because they were not very pleasant um, experiences in the relationship. And she says that a lot of the things that were publicized about her being in that relationship and getting out of the relationship were things that were lies, and it was almost like sabotage. Okay. So it makes me feel different about what's happening with him and his current wife, because I felt like the current wife is crazy. If a man don't want you anymore and he wants to divorce you, just divorce him. Why would you want to still stay at his house when he doesn't want you there anymore? So in her talking about that relationship, it made me feel like, listen, there's a lot more that we don't know about him and his treatment of women, and him being a known and powerful man like that. And it's possible that a lot of people tend to believe him when it comes to him now trying to get out of these relationships and making these women seem like they're crazy women. She even goes on to say, how come all of the baby mamas, Bagalebu M, they are crazy women, they are drunkards and they are not good moms, all of them, okay? Because he like makes sure that that's what people think when he is getting out of the relationship, okay? Then she goes on to talk about what's that guy from Generations, Karabo's husband. Sipemo, what's the guy? Guys, why am I forgetting name? What's the guy from Generations, guys? That she was dating while they were still in Generations. By the way, they were dating at work, okay? So I'm gonna remember his name just now, guys. I'm gonna remember. It's Thursday. The week is almost over. Rapulana. Yes, Rapulana. So she talks about Rapulana. I'm like, hey, Gonjo, you dated Rapulana. Hey, this woman dates you guys. And I don't blame her. Okay, she jumps from one relationship to the next. And I'm like, girl, like if a relationship is not working, jump, girl, jump. Don't do what others do where they just stay in a relationship. It's not working out. You are there by the relationship trying to make it work. And she jumps this one. It's not working out next one. And she does celebrities only. Okay. Or maybe we don't know about the ones that are not celebrities. But she jumps, girl jumps. Okay. So Lebu jumped to Raplan. Okay. Which I also was confused about that, because I've always thought that Rapulana was married. He just was married to somebody that wasn't a celebrity. Okay. So I was confused about this relationship. I was like, has Rapulana divorced his wife and whatever? And you know that he tries to live a private life. And this is like, I feel like for me, this is the only relationship I knew as his public relationship. And that's because both of them were celebrities. She was very clear to say, listen, relationship law into that she feels like she wishes she could forget. She says, my ex, you wish you can forget. Guys, can you imagine? Oh, Rapulana, your crush, guys, your crush. There's someone out there who's saying, listen, I wish I could forget this ex. Rapulana is somebody's ex that she wants to forget. Can you believe? I'm like, you mean Rapulana, you want to forget? She's like, yeah, I wish I could just forget that, you guys. She also talks about how, it was just a fun relationship at work that started at work. They were just having fun, and I guess it got serious. But then Uraplana, I guess Waba Nopsoga Msebenzini was dating someone else, Kona Lagu production behind the scenes. I know in the newspapers they were saying it's a lady that cooks for generations. She must have been cooking very nice food if it is a cooker. If it's a cook, guys, she must have been cooking very nice food. And the lady fell pregnant. It was all work drama, okay? So obviously, because she was working behind the scenes, and I'm 17, but Konabas was supposed to this one, Konabas was supposed to that one. She felt like she was sabotaged in her even ending up leaving the relationship. She says all of the stories that came out about her being drunk at work, because remember, there were reports that came out that she was showing up at work drunk. She says she never did that. She never showed up drunk at work. All of those things were stories that were being fed to the media to make her look a certain way because of this love thing that they had M17. The lady ended up falling pregnant. I don't know what happened with the relationship, but when she talks about that relationship, it's like, yeah, that was a mistake. Okay. Here's the thing that I was feeling when she was talking about her relationships. Because listen, you guys, I do feel like if a relationship doesn't work, even if for a woman too, move on to the next one if it doesn't work, okay? And if it doesn't work 50 times, you're going to be in 50 relationships because you're trying to find the perfect one, okay? But at some point, you have to be like, okay. I know these men were not any good, because when she talks about it, except for Robert Marawa, which I don't understand why they broke up, because she doesn't really want to talk about that out of just her respect for him. Okay, but the other, she talks about them like they were not really good relationship people. Okay, they were not really good in the relationship. But I'm like, like if you keep on getting in a relationship and it doesn't work out, you keep on getting in a relationship. Obviously, there's things that those people are doing wrong in the relationship. But I feel like, but there is something that you're also not doing wrong, right? Because you are a common factor in this relationship. You keep getting in and out and in and out and in and out, and it doesn't work out, and everything is always dramatic. And then there's newspapers and all. There must be something that you're doing wrong now, and even if it's just the thing of you are choosing the wrong man. So I didn't buy her thing of she just gets into these relationships with the wrong man and it just ends bad. I just wanted her to talk about herself a little bit when it comes to her relating to how she gets into these relationships. Like, how do you feel about the fact that you keep getting into these relationships that don't work out? You know what? Accountability or some growth that you feel now where you need in your life so that maybe the next relationship is different. Okay. So yes, guys, I'm an ex I better, but we chose those exes. So sometimes we have to take accountability. I just chose this person that ended up being very much imperfect for me. Okay. So you have to for growth, for your own growth, to be like, okay, so that I don't choose such a person again. Okay. What did I do wrong, Nami? So she talks about it almost like my relationships are things that happened to her, which I don't understand, you guys, because you're a grown woman. I mean, Lebu M had already had like a long queue of ex-wives, and you still chose him. Rapula now was known to be a married man, but we still chose him. If he's married, that is, if he was married. Now you were making some decisions there that were wrong. I wanted to hear a little bit of her and how she has grown in getting out of these relationships. Because yeah, phela uzojumpa kodwa at some point amadolo akho azoguga, your knees won't be strong enough to jump. As you grow, as you grow older, the jumping becomes very difficult. So with each jump from one relationship to another, as you are jumping to the next one, it becomes like, oh, there was a hard jump, and there was a hard jump. So if you are not growing from one jump to the next, then you're not any close to finding that person that you're looking for. But we are not against the jump, because guys, they not better jumper, but just know what Mausa jumper in your 20s, kujampeka kamnandi, but when you get to your 30s, it's like, your 40s, amadolo athi, I cannot do it. Okay, I cannot do. So you have to learn as you get out of a relationship. Okay, what did I do wrong there? I lo wayemubi njena ngathi umuntu omubi laphayana. Lowana abengathandi nokusebenza lawana. Or this one, okay, next time let me do better. I wanted to hear into kanjalo, not in the, in a serious way, but you know what I mean. I wanted to hear her say, what accountability is she taking with this relationship that didn't work out? How has she grown? Because the interview was about her, you guys, about her. What I'm learning from Unfollow, you guys, is that as much as it's very fun to go into these celebrities, social media, sometimes when they post something, you reply and whatever, and you state your opinion, that a lot of the times people are affected a whole lot more than we think. Okay, even in gossip, sometimes we have to be careful about the things that we say, because these people are really affected by what we say about them. So now we talk about the story, we pass, you go on social media, you comment, you say your opinion, you go, and then the person is stuck with whatever things that have been said to them, and it affects them more than we think. And then sometimes also the fact that a lot of these stories that are published in newspapers, even newspapers that we trust, sometimes they're not true. It's just stories that certain people have certain agendas, and they feed those stories to those people because they want a person to appear a certain way. So we have to be careful even when we read those stories. Okay. Good morning. The Blue Clinic with Dr. Tamila, guys, is here. Uthandi Malik, and yo. I would have had to go and pray and fast, because that would have been very hard for me. Moloni Constance Kosi, Moloni. No, I also thought it was his production. No, she said what? He has nothing to do with the production. He wrote a few songs, like the African songs of the production, and that was it. Now that they're doing a production, stage, those things have nothing to do with him. I was like, really? So how is Lebu M making money then? Lebu M Jenai red flag. I we red flag and cool gable. And guys, women that get into relationships with Lebu M and even marry him, I'm like, hey, now a girl, konitenge ko wrong now. This person has been marrying, divorcing, marrying, divorce. What makes you think that you're going to be that last one? That he's just going to marry and stay with. It doesn't even make sense to think that. So for you to not even see the red flags that the whole country is seeing, it doesn't make sense to me. Good morning, Lufas. That was Pulane, present ma'am. Senkhohlo kusho amagama abantu. Nokwanda Sbiya, Koyo DK, and Celia. Celia is here. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining. Lufas says, "Good morning, family. Let's like as we end. Please, 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 like. He helps me so much. Thank you so much, Lufas, for that." Rapulana Sepumo. Yes, yes. Oga Karabo on generations. Urapulana is an ex that people want to forget. Can you imagine? We are there by generation thinking that he's a dream crush. He did and does lots. He did and does make lots of money from music scoring. He collects royalties from every theater and screen remake. It's his biggest paycheck to this day. Inkwezi, okay, at least he is making money from it. I'm going to watch this episode. Which one? The unfollow. Yeah, it's a good one, you guys. Watch also the one before this one, Kazo. It was a good one too. Nkwekwezi, yes, he actually explained it in an interview with Machi. I didn't watch his interview on Machi, so that makes sense. Do not forget to like. Yes, you guys, do not forget to like. Hi, Ndandong Mema Uzokulumela. Uzokulumela. You're welcome to Mama Len Gosugolukulu. We actually never reflect on relationship. We fail. Yeah, I mean, I'll say the wrong things, mina. I'll say the wrong things. Ungangimeme emshadweni. Ungathi ngizokhuluma mina emshadweni ngoba ngizothi mina yabona kodwa-ke yabona kodwa sister masekubheda-ke sis. Hey, don't stay. Phela emshadweni, people that must speak is people that would say kuyabekezelwa sisi, indoda iyaphekelwa, na ushintshe amashidi omubhede, you must clean the kitchen, you must cook breakfast, lunch and supper. I'm the wrong person. Awona mina yazi sisi mawukhathele uzobona kusasa. It's mawukhathele lala naye uzobona, get the takeaway, nidle nilale. And then people will be like, this one is not right to speak at the wedding. Morning, friends from Butayamukhelang. Hello, Botswana. Thank you so much for being here. So, guys, let's talk about this interview that we wanted to talk about yesterday, which is Simz Right's story. Okay, do you do Sim's story already? No, I haven't done it. I'm doing it now. So she did an interview with Promise, you guys. Okay, let me say this. I thought Sims looked beautiful, you guys. I think she looks healthy. She doesn't look like somebody that has been going through some stuff, okay? Because, sometimes the pillow can ravaza us. When it has been going through it, okay? She looked good for the interview, you guys. And I felt like she was calm. She was willing to tell the story, and she was trying throughout the interview to be very respectful to her ex-husband. Okay, I didn't feel like at any point that she was trying to attack him or put him in a bad way. And it makes sense, you guys. This is somebody that you were about to spend the rest of your life with. This is a father of your kids, so I do understand her trying to protect him in certain instances. And I guess that's the reason in some parts you were feeling like you are not getting the juicy stuff, because she was trying to protect him. So that part, you guys, I understand completely. Okay. I do like the way that Upromise conducts her interview. I think that as much as she is the interviewer, but she does let the person lead the interview. So you tell as much as you want to tell, but the questions that she would ask are sort of like the right questions that we want to know about. Okay, so I like that, you guys, about the interview. Okay, let's talk about the thing that a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people have commented about when it comes to the fact that Simz Right did make a decision to do this interview with Promise when we know her to be friends with Owami. And Owami and Promise are sworn enemies. Okay, let's just say it. These ladies don't like each other. Okay. if they get a chance just to push each other into, I don't know, like a dirty river, they would take the chance, okay? They probably won't kill each other, but they will probably bangatropana nje edamini lamanzi angcolile or something like that, you know? You know. So of course people were saying, how come Sims has made a decision to do the interview? This is not the first time that Sims has been in a situation like this, because she is friends with Debuti, and Debuti and Owami have always had that back. It's not even a back and forth, but because it's always been one-sided, where Owami just had an issue with Debuti because of the experience that they had back in the days when they were all starting out on YouTube. And so Owami had issues with Debuti, but Debuti has always been friends with Simz Right. So it's always been a question, who is she a real friend to, guys? You know the saying that if you are friends with everybody, you are friends to no one. You know, the meaning of that is that it's very hard to be loyal to two people that are not getting along. You know, there's going to be time where there is some little bit of a betrayal, because in private moments, someone is gonna say, "Yes, and are you not gonna answer and say, are you right, Nganda? You are dinner well," you know? So of course, people are wondering how that friendship is works. Okay, I think when it comes to Simz Rights and Debussy, I've always thought that the friendship that was more genuine for me, that looked like it's more genuine, I might be wrong because I'm not part of the friendship, was Debussy and Simz Rights. I felt like with Owami no Simz Right is more of friends at work, okay, but I might be wrong. So even in this situation here, you guys, we did see Simz Right posting. I don't know if they were at the event together with Promise. That was the first time that I realized that they're actually friendly with each other. I don't know if they are friends, okay. So they were at an event together right after Owami and Promise had that back and forth, okay. So of course there were questions even then. What's how Simz Right guy is friends with Promise when she's also friends with Owami. Okay. I don't know how she does it, you guys, because it will be very difficult for me to not be like, I'm Gani, why am I just saying in when we are together, you know? And but I do get her in saying, listen, it's not my beef. They are fighting, but I'm not fighting with any of them. So if who Promise is asking me for an interview, why wouldn't I do the interview? Okay. And I don't know if Oami can come out and say honestly, you know what, I'm not bothered by it. Okay, she'll probably say, listen, I mean, they don't have an issue with each other, so it's okay if they do an interview. But if I'm that friend and you my friend and you're doing an interview with that person that really hates me, in my private moment, I'm going to be like, are you my friend though? Like, let me be honest with myself. Is this person my friend? So I don't know, you guys. I think Usims feels like she has it in control. She's friends with both of them. And I think she tried very, very hard to not go into topics that would mention Owami in any way. Because I think she's just trying to protect that. She's trying, I don't know, you guys, is she trying to protect the friendship or is she trying not to get into the drama? But she tried to stop Promise getting into topics that will end up being about Owami. Okay, so that is the thing, you guys. I don't know, you guys. I feel like Owami and Sims are friends at work, and you know, friends at work, when you get a job somewhere else, you know, you forget about them and you meet them at the mall and you are friendly with them. But you know, that's how deep the friendship goes. Sometimes I think with Promise, I couldn't figure out if they are really friends or it's just that they're getting to know each other because now they're both, you know, content creators, you guys. But nonetheless, there wasn't much that was said about Owami. But here's the thing, you guys. Towards the end, I want to start with that because I want to get it out of the way. Towards the end, Promise does try to get into something about Owami. I do feel like, you guys, it's like we would like Promise to be mature and be like, you know what, I'm done with the Wami thing. I'm not going to mention it at all. But we also know that content creation is a game thing too, where you know that if you mention certain people in certain places, people react and whatever, and then the people that are gonna watch your video because they heard that in the certain segment you mentioned the person. So it's like she's trying to be mature, but also playing the game at the same time. So I did understand her wanting to mention her, but I did understand people that are saying how Njani, because this has nothing to do with she shouldn't have mentioned her. Okay, so I was like, she knows if she mentions it, it's gonna kuzophithizela in the comment section, and that's exactly what happened, you guys. So then, you guys, of course, when the interview starts, she's asked about the big night, which is the night that the husband decided that he was going to release all of the information about the citation. Okay, so guys, okay, she still maintains, Simz Right still maintains that they did separate with her husband immediately after, the big wedding in December. So immediately after that, they separated, which is amazing to me, because it's like, why do they even still do the marriage? Because then, they must have had issues even before they did the big wedding. I don't understand it, but she maintains that they were separated, you guys. And then she maintains that the reason that she was at the house that night was because the schools were closed and they were trying to pretend to the kids that they were together. From what I'm learning, the kids didn't stay with them. The kids stayed with the grandmother. So they were back in the house because, of course, the schools are closed. So Simz says that they were going to pretend to still be together so that the kids are not, I guess, affected. But I don't know how long they were planning to do that. That was the reason that she was in the house. Okay. So then that whole thing happened the night that she is at the house. He gets hold of the phone, sees whatever he sees on the phone, decides to send it to everybody. Okay. There is the timelines, you guys, for me, like I said, that I'm just going to give Usim's grace, because of course akusindaba yethu lena ukuthi kufanele sisazi every single detail, understand every single detail. But ama timelines, when it comes to the separation and uqala komjolo with the boy and her husband finding out, is not timing for me, because there is a time where she says she was not planning to leave. She says that she was not planning to leave, almost like she's insinuating that had this situation not happened, she wouldn't have left. Okay. But then at the same time, she is saying she had already left. Okay. She was already living with her stepfather. So she had just come back for that day because they wanted to just give this picture to the children that they were still together. But she had already left. But then in another segment, she says that she was never really going to leave. It might have been me that misunderstood the whole thing. Another thing that confused me is that she says, you remember when she was posting about on Instagram about having left with a sports bag, she was already not living in the house. She said she had moved out to stay with her stepfather. She had just come back for the kids. But then when the husband finds out that she's cheating, she's throwing her clothes out. And I'm like, but what are your clothes doing there? I guess they were there just for that night because she was there that night, throws the clothes out and whatever. Remember that the way that we found out about the sport bag, you guys, was that she was saying that she was kicked out of the house only with a sport bag. Okay, that sport bag that she's talking about that night. So if you had already moved out, you were staying with your stepfather already, why were you online acting like you were homeless after your husband kicked you out? Because she made it seem like she was homeless at the time, guys. The only thing I walked out with is a sport bag. So you were already at your stepfather's house for months, because she says the breakup happened right after the wedding. So you were already out of the house. I guess probably your husband was up to his own thing. So why were you online acting like, guys, he picked me out with only a sport bag? I'm out here being homeless. Okay. Promise didn't get into that. Okay. So I kind of felt like the timelines are still not adding up, but I'm okay with it because it's not my story. Okay, had it been my story, I would have wanted to know every single detail and everything to line up perfectly for me to have closure. Okay, but since it's not my story, I guess I just have to live with the fact that I still have questions about when the separation happened. Was she cheating or was she not cheating? Because obviously, if they had broken up, she was no longer at the house, then it wasn't really cheating, you guys. Promise doesn't ask about the donation thing, because I really, really wanted to know about the donation thing. Why did Tim decide to go do the donation, to ask for donation? You break up with your partner, you move out, you have a plan. You've moved out of the house to your stepfather's house. The kids would stay with the grandmother that they were staying with even before. Why were you needing donations? because you were living with your stepfather. Why now that we know about the break? Because the breakup had already happened. We knew about the breakup when the videos were released, okay? But the breakup had already happened. So why at that time were you acting like you are homeless with your kids? At that time when you are saying that you already lived with your stepfather and the kids were with the grandmother, you guys were sorted, you were okay. I wanted that explained. I know that she had come out to say that the viewers had asked her for that. I did not believe that story. So I would have loved Promise to actually talk about that and say what made you do the donations thing, They do get into the GBV situation, you guys. I also feel like in this situation, Promise didn't do justice to it, you guys. And I know that it is a sensitive issue. And for that reason, I feel like they should have gotten into it, you guys, because Sims did release a video where she sort of insinuated that there was a GBV a thing in her relationship. And then the husband came to confirm it. So there was no question about whether there was a GBV. There was a GBV because her husband had confirmed it in the audio that she had sent. Okay, but I wanted to understand the pictures that were sent. Why would you send pictures that you had posted on another story saying that something else had happened? If she just explained that, you know what, maybe I lied in that video when I said that those pictures were for that story, they were actually for this story here, say GPV, because it made it seem like there is a lie here. Why are you taking these pictures that you had posted somewhere else and said they were for something else? Now you're taking those pictures, you are sending them to Owami to say that these are the pictures that are the evidence of the GBV in my relationship. When we do remember the story time where you were telling a different story and you showed the very same pictures. So which one? Are you telling the truth now? Were you telling the truth then? Promise doesn't get into it, you guys. I don't know if there was an agreement to say, listen, we will talk about the GBV, but we're not going to get into the details of it. Okay, so I was still left with the questions in terms of the pictures. Why were those pictures sent to okay, which picture really relates to the GPV? Which picture maybe was added in the gallery of the GPV but don't really belong to that? Okay, and also promised us ask her about the decision to choose O as the person that was going to be her mouthpiece at the time. Okay, she says that the reason for that is because she knew that Ndibuti. She said what about Ndibuti? Ndibuti was close to the situation. It would have been hard for her to do the story. I don't even think Ndibuti would have done the story, but she felt like she needed somebody that was going to be her mouthpiece because her husband was threatening that she was going to go to these big blogs and talk about the story and tell them all of the secrets. But she felt like she wanted somebody to speak for her. She does not regret sending the story to Owami. I kind of feel like even if she does regret sending the story to Owami, she probably is not going to say, okay? Because who seems, sometimes it seems like she's scared of Owami. She's scared to say anything, so I feel like even if she regrets taking that step to say, oh, please talk about this and these are the pictures or whatever, she's not gonna say, because I feel like sometimes it's like I'm Sabu or so, but she said she doesn't regret making that decision to give her the story to be the one that talks about it. And then they do ask about, Promise does ask about Madam Speaker, because Madam Speaker also talked about the story as if she was close to the story somehow. And I was surprised for Sims to say, listen, she does not know, like personally know Madam Speaker. They've spoken just online, but it's not like they have a personal friendship, So there wasn't anything there. Okay, I guess, people will do what they need to do, you guys, to get some views over here on YouTube. They do ask about the medical aid, you guys. The father did not take the kids out of a medical aid. Because then I was like, Sizu, that doesn't even make sense for you to say you're going to take the kids out of the medical aid because you're angry with their mother, But she says, no, those are the things that he probably said at the time where things were heated between the two of them. But he never did take the kids out of the medical aid. Those who are confused about the kids' situation, you guys, they have two daughters together, but then Usizwe has two other children and Usims has a son before they got together. But it seems to me like they raised all of their kids together. By the way, guys, the guy is not a neighbor, but she did not explain where the neighbor thing comes from. Okay, she says the guy is not her neighbor. Okay, so I don't know if there was a neighbor and then there was this guy, you know, because I suppose maybe there was a neighbor and suppose that there was this guy. Because where does Usizwe get the neighbor thing? She says that the guy is not the neighbor. Okay, so now, guys, they get into the fact that she did post something to say she was back with the guy, and then people assume it was the ex-husband. And then that situation that I talked about, where she had come and said that the entertainment channels are toxic and all of that. Okay, did I say that the entertainment channels are toxic? I was like, you know what? She did say that, Yuka. She did say the entertainment channels are toxic because listen, before I talk about, if I want to talk about what the YouTuber says, they say it, I listen to it, and then I think about what my commentary is going to be. And then right before I do the video, I go and listen because I want to make sure I go and listen. Okay. I'm like, she said it. Okay. After I did the video, I went and I listened to it. Okay. It was there. Okay. But what has happened, okay, I don't know what's happening with her channel. Yesterday, when I went to her channel, because I wanted to take that clip just to play it, okay? Because I was like, maybe Sims forgot that she said it because it is in one of her videos, okay? And it wasn't the only time that she said that the entertainment channels are toxic. And I found that in her channel, it's either she has deleted or she has privatized all of the entertainment videos, okay? So I couldn't find, and I haven't searched today, but yesterday, none of the video. Maybe she has like 30 something videos that are remaining, and it's all personal videos. Okay. So I don't know if she's rebranding, she's not gonna do entertainment anymore. But yesterday on her channel, all of the entertainment videos were gone, and so I couldn't find that video. But I can tell you for sure that she did say that, you guys. Maybe she meant it different. I don't know, you guys. She says that for her, she feels like YouTube has always had that sense of community. I guess when it was just a few of them, Yeah. They were managing the fakery. If you ask me, they were managing the fakery back then. It's a lot of people. It's very hard to manage the fakery. So she feels like now, and she's saying that thing that the celebrities say. Because, sometimes, even if you cough, people will talk about your cough. I'm like, yeah, but that's what you feel. That thing, you guys, for me, just doesn't make sense for an entertainment blogger to say that. Everything I do, people are talking about it, but you also, everything celebrities do, you talk about it too. It doesn't make sense, you guys. But overall, you guys, it was a great interview. I mean, I guess the things that I didn't get into, guys, we just have to live without it. Guys, akuyona indaba yethu lena. Ngeke sithole wonke amajuice ey'ndaba zabantu, we just have to accept it, you guys. Listen, when the interview was done, I was like, oh, thank you, Promise. Now, when does Sizwe come? Me being the gossip, I was like, thank you so much. I appreciate the stories, Sims. And now when is Caesar's interview? Okay, now we need the ex-husband to come and tell his side of the story. I don't think that Sims would have a problem with him coming and telling his side of the story, actually. And yeah, but yeah, I'm sure Promise is on it. Okay, I respect Sim for doing the interview with Promise. This is her life. She's doing decisions that affect her. She's not hot sporting hate. She knows nothing about. Okay, and I get that, you guys. I get that, you guys, but I mean, my real friends, if they don't get along with somebody and that person is not my friend, I'm not necessarily going to pursue a friendship with that. Like, I'm talking about my real friends now. I'm not talking about abantu baku YouTube. I'm not talking about abantu basemsebenzini. I'm talking about my real friends. I'm not going to pursue a friendship, with that person just out of ukuthi, umnganami, so ngikhuluma ke ngotshomi bangempela, so yeah. But I guess what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I love Sims because she's got kids at heart. Everything she does is for her kids, which is a plus for a mother. Yeah, that's good. Yes, you guys, I think she does consider her kids. I think she's trying to protect her kids, even in her not saying like all of the things that she could possibly say about the ex. She's trying to not hurt Owami. She knows Owami will come for. I think she tries too hard, you guys. I can't live a life like that where I just can't freely talk how I feel about certain situations. And I mean, if you're not coming from an evil place, you're just being honest about certain situations, then what would hurt a person then? Bongabota say living and moving out is different. Maybe she had left momentarily and was going to come back. Maybe that's a possibility. That's a possibility, Bonga. Same story was not make sure. And I think we just have to accept it as unmake sure as it is. We just have to accept it. Did she say it's her who asked for donations? She did not talk about the donations. Did I miss it? She did not talk about the donations. But she was the one that posted it on her community post, and it had a link to the donations thing. I remember there's one where she was crying. Uh, oh yes, you guys. She promised also didn't talk about that video that was going around with the GBV situation to sort of say what was happening there. She did not talk about it. That's why I feel like maybe they had agreed that they were not really going to talk into details about the GBV. Good morning, family. That interview was not nice, man. Seems not herself uncomfortable answering some questions, obviously, because promise was being promised. Oh wow. I felt different about that. Yes. I felt different about that, Pillow. But yeah, I hear you. Tokolisa says, Haiba Sims really is scared of Owami, hence she can't even choose to let go of her, even though behind the scenes she does or say things about her. I do believe behind the scenes, you guys. Mawuhleba nabangani bakho, uzizohleba hawo. Now I understand why Sims has too much time in her hands. She doesn't stay with all her kids. She doesn't. Well, from what I made out from an interview, the kids stayed with the grandmother. They would visit during the holidays, so she would be there for that. Okay. Nonkosi I'm so late. But you can rewind, okay? Guys, I need to go. I'm already late. Good morning. Made it today. Elisa Lungiswa Benswana. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. But that's all that happened to that interview. Okay, so promise. Now we are waiting for the date and time for Sizwe's interview. But you guys, I thought it went well. But Pilo, I hear what you're saying. Maybe when I watch it again, I will pick up on some of the things that you're talking about Sims being uncomfortable. But I didn't feel like that. I didn't feel like that. I felt like Sims was trying to be serious. And on level M is red flag. There's big red flag. I don't understand why you would date. He's handsome and all of that. Maybe he has money. I don't know, but why would you put yourself in that? I'll watch the recap so late. Yes, please do that. Please do that. What I mean, promise is being promised. I think she comes from preconceived ideas and now just confirms through questions. Okay. Yeah, I think promise has this thing of I don't want to say she stands for men, but it's almost like she wants the voices of men to not be lost in us talking only about how we feel as women in relationships, when we get out of relationships, when we divorce, and all of that. She's trying to now and then feature the voice of men, and I think I'm liking that. So I don't know. I would love to hear how Sims felt about the interview. Was she comfortable in the interview? Did she feel like it went as well as she was hoping? Yeah, I think it will be interesting to hear from her. But anyway, you guys, please do not forget to like the stream. Also, share the video with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. We need